Thank you for joining us on Illinois Derby Day here at Hawthorne. We hope you have an enjoyable afternoon wherever you may be. We do urge you to make your selections early. Have fun, and thank you. Racing fans, for those of you here at Hawthorne, if you're a Club Hawthorne member, you can go down to guest services in the simulcast area, pick up your free gift that we're giving away today, the Illinois Derby bag. If you're a Illinois Derby bag available for our Club Hawthorne members, go to guest services in the simulcast area. They're available right now while supplies last.
And good afternoon, racing fans. Welcome to Hawthorne Racecourse for a Sunday afternoon of thoroughbred action. Illinois Derby Day here at Hawthorne Racecourse. Jim Miller and Emily Gullikson joining you from the apron today on this nice Sunday afternoon. It's a little breezy, but not too bad. Emily, temperatures in the upper 50s. Fast track going to be fast all day long.
We brought our jackets, and I don't even think we need them. It is nice out here today. The little bit of breeze helps cool down the sun a little bit. Yeah, it's nice out here.
It is nice out here, and we'll have a lot of folks out here today as we have a lot going on. Not only the running of the Illinois Derby, the return of this race since 2017. This is the first time that it's back. We have a handicapping contest that's taking place on the first floor. We have a handicapping contest for those that want to play on expressbet.com. Food out here as well if everybody wants to go and check things out on the apron too. It smells really good.
It does smell really good out here. We're right by the barbecue. It smells great.
Yeah, so we're checking out for that, and we do have the 9-race card with the Illinois Derby as the feature, so we're going to look through the 9 races and see if we can provide you some winners or some insight here today. Only a handful of scratches, only 5 scratches on the card, not too bad. One big one, I think, in the Derby, only for the fact of with Ravenstown coming out, I think it's going to change the pace scenario a little bit in that race, too.
Yeah, absolutely. They were going to be the controlling speed, but I still think it maybe even makes it a little bit more competitive and turn it into a rider's race, especially for the 9 furlongs where riders want to put their horses.
Yeah, and it is going to be one of those things where for those of you that are not as familiar to wagering here at Hawthorne, the track played very evenly yesterday.
Yes.
I expect it to play much the same today. We don't really change the way we maintain that racetrack from day to day. We want to make sure it is a consistent, safe racing surface. So that's what you're going to see today. You could win on the front end like Play 20 did yesterday. You could come from out of it like numerous horses did. I think it's just the best horse getting the best trip winning the races.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want as a player, is having those fair surfaces, and it makes for good handicapping puzzles.
Yeah, it definitely does. So let's see how things unfold here today. For those that want to know kind of how the track will play around 2 turns for the Illinois Derby, you're going to get an idea for that with the opener. As in race number 1, we go 1 mile and 70 yards in the first, 62.50 maidens in the opener here, Emily. You get a field of 7 to line up, and in the first, 6-5 favorite is the 2 Money Agent. Raylu Gutierrez picking up the call for Abel Lascano here for Manny Perez. Emily, this is a horse that in that last out, that was a pretty good race on the drop-in class. Who had 2 starts, 1 workout, and that's it. I think this horse is kind of racing into fitness, too.
He is. He ran a really good race. He's always showed some ability, and I think they found the right level for him. And I thought he'd be a little bit more value. We'll see. I think this race is pretty competitive, and the odds might change. I think it's kind of a race you'd probably want a little bit of value. But coming out of the common race back on April 6th, I gave Money Agent a little bit of an edge over Solomon Vandy if he was going to be favored. But we're seeing kind of an odds discrepancy here on the board. Right. And then it gave both those 2 an edge over number 7, Sharpen Your Faith, when the lost ground didn't really have as much trouble as it might have appeared.
Yeah, and like you said, coming out of the Lake race in that last out, Hawaiian Hideaway was the winner in that spot. Solomon Vandy was sent off at 2 to 1. Money Agent was set off at 11 to 1 there, and Solomon Vandy ran okay, made a move into contention in the lane before flattening out just a little bit late. But right now you're looking at 6 to 1 on the board. We know things will change a little bit, so I'll be curious to see just how much it changes though when we wheel back to look at this race again.
And then another one to mention is My Tennis Shoes. This is a horse that both you and I liked last out, and watching that last race, I think it's a horse that wants the added ground that they're going to get today, and another one to keep on the radar.
Yeah, added ground's going to help. Dropping class is going to help as well too, but I think it's a little bit more wide open even than you're seeing on the board there for race number 1. Race 2 today, maidens go 5.5 furlongs on the main track. Fillies and mares 3 and up here. You get a field of 7 to line up in a race number 2. Trainer Wayne Catalano sent some runners here this meet and had his share of success. He has Eldora in the spot eyelid. This one is a heavy favorite at 4 to 5. The horse was 5 to 2 in that last out at this level. I do think this horse will take a lot of action today, though.
Yeah, I think the 4 to 5 could be generous.
Yeah,
It could be a lot. I mean, Eldora, she just stands out in this field. She's run the fastest figures by a considerable margin, so she's clearly the horse to beat. Has just run competitive races all the way around. Finished behind Fast and Happy, one of the Terry Young runners who ran fine yesterday. The horse that I gave a little bit of a look to at a price, I don't think can necessarily beat Eldora is number 7 Till. Caught a solid group on debut. That was closing weekend at Turfway Park. I think sometimes, you know, if you're debuting on closing weekend, that can often be a prep to go forward. Showed legit early speed. Was part of a very fast early pace before losing ground. Returns here with the blinkers on. Just an upgrade out of it. Bendizu picks up the mountain over another in this field.
Yeah, he had a good night at Fairmount Park last night too. He won quite a few races over there. Comes over here, been riding well this meet. And the one thing this race is lacking a little bit is early pace. There's not a ton of speed in the race. So I could see Till getting into the mix. Hattie Bloom, Gary Shearer's had a good meet as well. That one wouldn't surprise me coming in from New Orleans. But yeah, Eldora is going to take a whole lot of action there in race number 2. Third race today is a really good race. $50,000 optional claiming allowance runners in this spot. They go 3/4 of a mile. It's a field of 6 to line up in here. Went West, the horse that I laid, is the heavy favorite from the barn of trainer Louis Roussel. This one stakes tries in 2 of the last 3. Cortez, a horse that ran well in that last out. Shackelford Strong ran pretty good. And even a horse like Looking for Bala can improve. So this, for the field of 6, you can look a few different ways in race number 3.
You can, and these are all horses that know how to win and like to win races. And yeah, it can make it very, very, very competitive. Wet West, it makes a lot of sense in here with the class drop, properly placed. They're going to run for that $50,000 tag, the first time he's ever been in for the tag in his career. Looking for Bala, I think, improves, and it shows even, it has as much early speed as Faithful Ruler, and Faithful Ruler, you know, has legit early speed in here. Cortez, my one knock was just value, because I thought he was such good value last out, made a really positive appearance in the paddock, closed a ton of ground, was a little bit shuffled out of position, then a big gallop out, no knocks there. And then Shackelford Strong, he's just one that puts himself in the race to get the right trip.
Yeah, he definitely does, and Jimmy DeVito places this horse well. The horse loves this Hawthorne strip. 10 starts over the track, 6 victories, 9 of 10 on the board. Wouldn't surprise me by any means. Went West is the horse to beat, but with 3 horses with speed, just has the rate and look to run on late. But that one going to be a short price, though, in race number 3. Fourth race, you get Illinois bred allowance runners in this spot. They go 3/4 of a mile in race number 4. It's a field of 7 to line up. Another Wayne Catalano runner here, and Joe the Taylor, who should take action. But Clyde's Green Go ran a really nice race in that last out as well. But I thought Rhodium's Pride was going to be worth a look too. I think there's numerous horses that you can kind of look to. I guess you start with Clyde's Green Go, who came back kind of off that lengthy layoff and had run well, and then worked from there. Is that kind of the route that you were at least initially looking to?
I'm going to look at something in that April 6th race, and the horse I'm going to lean to out of that race is Wildwood Reuben. Wildwood Reuben is coming off that 301-day layoff. He completely missed the break, just 100% missed the break, made a massive burst into that fast early pace, and he was extremely wide at the same time, and then it ended up staying on for show. I don't think the chart comment gets it that much credit, but that's one that you can go back and watch the replay, and it's just one you have to give a look to. He's also a 4-year-old in this field, and Joe the Taylor, Rhodium's Prize, they're both are both sophomores. And actually, if you go back to those two, they ran in the common race, the futurity at FanDuel, and Rhodium's Pride was actually shorter of the two, and that odd shift could change here.
Yeah, and Rhodium's Pride, like what you said, the 3-2 favorite in there in that race at FanDuel. It came back in that last out, and I just tend to wonder because the horse flattened out a little bit in that last, and now you add the Lasix today. Maybe the horse bled in that start, maybe could improve with that additional Lasix. So I'm just kind of curious to see if Rhodium's Pride can move up a little bit. Going to be a decent price in the 4th as well, too, because some of these others should take a decent amount of action as well.
If that morning line 6 on Wildwood Reuben, I'm happy. I'm going with it.
And you might get it just because of the Catalano runner and because Clyde's Green Go ran as well as this one did last start out. Race 5 today goes 1 mile and 70 yards. Starter optional company, $13,500 is the price tag. It's a field of 7 as we scratch the 7. Millard's Smile. You have to start with the horse that loves Hawthorne, and this is a horse that was so good last year in Gun Rush and then worked from there. Jim Watkins had a good day yesterday, could have another good day today, and this is one that could lead the way.
Yeah, you start with him just as an individual, plus in terms of the race shape. When you have a horse like Gun Rush that's extremely fast and can be extremely determined on the front end, he's one of those horses from the race shape that puts the other riders kind of in a position, right? Because if they try to run with him, they can get absolutely cooked because he's just faster. He's faster than those other horses. And then the scenario is, well, if you let him go, he's gone. So, I mean, it's like, it's kind of that tough scenario where he just has an advantage with his early speed. So I gave him that edge because I think he should be the speed of the speed. Now, if I'm looking for an alternative, I don't really want any of the other horses that could be chasing or could get caught up in that duel, which would upgrade, in my opinion, number 6, BLE, who's got that just massive late kick. And if they do start to bunch up, even if they don't go fast, but they just kind of bunch up, he closes.
And BLE put together a really nice string of races last year because we saw Moment on the starter circuit just win after win after win after win. And then B.L.E. was able to pull off the upset. I know you liked the horse that day too, and the horse paid a decent price.
Yes, he did, yeah.
It's one of those horses that Rodriguez scratches, the other stays in with this one. I think the horse will have a big shot. Because Vinny's a Canuck is the route that I went to, only for the fact it's an improved post. Had the 10-hole in that last out and chased, but had to work a little bit for position there. From the inside, you know Gunrush is going to wing it out just to the inside. They don't have to go with that one. I don't want them to, but maybe they can just sit in that second flight early on, maybe get the jump on some of the closers. So we'll see.
Do you remember that last race, how much money Cousin Vinny's the Canuck was? He seemed very live in that spot last out, too.
Yeah, he took a lot of money. They're coming off a little bit of a layoff. Joel Burnt off to a good start this meet as well. So going to look for a little bit of a price there in race number 5. Sixth race today starts the 50-cent late pick 4, $5,000 claimers going 5.5 furlongs. Scratch the 3. That's read the transcript. Leaves you with a field of 8 to line up. Time Heist. This was a horse that ran a really good race in that last out. I think the horse probably closed from even further back than it was given credit for. And just at the 3/8 pole, kind of kicked it into another gear. And then you still weren't sure with a 16th of a mile to go. But this one got up in time and rolled on by, and now you go a 16th of a mile further today.
Yeah, I think Time Heist is very logical.
Yep.
This is the one race that I kind of felt like maybe I'm being a little less creative in there.
Right.
Coming up with him.
Horse,
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
you kind of, and then you just look around and you're like, okay, I don't really want a short price on Robust, even though he's run really well, or Risky Boy. Read the transcript. Probably last time was the time to have him. Greensfelder, remember the name. They could kind of look for that kind of bunched up to pass horses late, but I think it's a great spot for Time Heist.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. Robust first off the claim into the barn of Armando Hernandez, who's having a good meet, but Time Heist going to be a short price, but the most logical winner for sure there in race number 6. In the 7th, take out the 3, Phillipsburg. This is another race where Eduardo Rodriguez had 2, but the other one that stays in, I think, is very live. 8-horse field of allowance runners in this spot. And this was a race that created a little bit of conversation because of the one, Richie's on a Roll. Because here's the thing, Richie's on a Roll won a Claiming Crown race. Claiming Crown races are starter allowance races, so the horse is eligible based upon the condition. So a fine job placement by trainer Jose Rodriguez. The horse is going to be a short price, has posted some big numbers. I tried to pull off the upset here. I went to another one. Did you think anybody could beat Richie's on a Roll in this spot?
You know, it's another one that it kind of comes down to race shape, right? Because he's another one that wants to be on or near the lead from the inside that can kind of force their hand. There's some other horses that could keep them honest in here, given the complexion of this field based by politics, Be Easy. Even number 6, Silent Sunday, just kind of depends on what they want to do. So that would be the scenario that he could get beat, is if he takes that pace pressure. But it might be a gun rush type scenario where he just, will take some other horses down with him. The horse that, I gave my crazy neighbor a look last out. And a legit long shot. He has to improve. He's got to run like a race he hasn't run in the past. But this would kind of be the time. He ran in traffic last out. He made a move. He showed more run than it might appear. But I think I have an idea which horse you went to in here.
Twirling Roses.
Oh, yeah.
I love Twirling Roses.
I think that horse is legit, too.
I think it is, too. And that was the thing. I was curious if Phillipsburg was in. I thought that was going to be the one sent to challenge, actually, early on. But with that one out, we'll see if somebody else goes. But Twirling Roses, I thought was a good effort in that last out. Needs the added distance, and I think 3/4 of a mile is definitely going to help. I still think you get every bit of that 6 to 1 too. So,
yeah, and should get a great trip.
Yeah, and I agree. Should get a great trip. So Twirling Rose is going to be the one for me in race 7. Race 8 is the running of the Illinois Derby. It's the 60th running of the $200,000 race today. You get a field of 5 to line up. Scratch the 6, Ravenstown. Let's just work from the inside out through this field, Emily. Declan Cannon's in to ride the 3, Raguel. But with Ravenstown out, changes the pace complexion a little. I think it's going to be a bunched field much of the way around. But let's start from the inside. The 1, a Real Men Violin coming from the barn of Kenny McPeak. Really good at 2, maybe trying to figure it out at 3 a little, but this horse was also facing some very tough company.
Yeah, I think that this is just kind of one of those things where they're looking for a second plan. I think their plan was to run the Kentucky Derby, coming off that really strong juvenile season. They ran the Risen Star off the layoff and thought, we'll get a race, and then we're going to run Louisiana Derby, we're going to get our points, and, we're going to the big race. And it just wasn't the right trip for him, and maybe just didn't like fairgrounds for whatever reason. And I think that this being kind of the plan B, like we've got a horse that's live, that's fit, that hasn't run his race this year, has the back class. He's got tactical speed and finishing ability as well, so it should work out a great trip in this field. And just say, let's run here, and we'll be right set up for the Preakness.
Yep, exactly. 4 weeks out from the Preakness, I think what they're going to be pointing for off a good effort here. I mean, this is a horse that was Triple Crown nominated, and it was done so for a reason. They thought a lot of this horse. So see what we get out of Real Men Violin. The 2 is Patriot Spirit. Julio Felix aboard for trainer Mike Campbell. This is the most stakes season runner in this field. Has run 5 stakes races. Solid while sprinting. I guess the biggest question to answer is how you're going to handle 2 turns for Patriot Spirit. With the scratch of Ravenstown, this one could be a little bit closer and maybe even find itself on the front end. You get a local rider in Julio Felix who's had a good meet. I kind of improved this one's chances because Ravenstown was out.
I'm not sold on the distance. He looks like a sprinter to me, and I think that's going to be the biggest hurdle more than anything. But he'll kind of look like that horse that's like getting the right spot, and then maybe the distance gets to him late. That was my assessment.
Yeah, and that could be the question there for Patriot Spirit, and what the pace is going to be. If you're going out there in 46 and change, 47 could be very tough. If all of a sudden you're at 48 and 4 to the half, cruising along comfortably, you never know. 3 is Raguel. Again, Declan Cannon aboard for trainer Brendan Walsh in here today. This is the one trying a stakes effort for the first time, but every race has been long in its career. Bred to run all day. A horse that's been handling things around 2 turns. Probably going to be up close to the pace, and this is one of those that might actually try to get the jump on some of the closers like Real Men Violin in here.
I think so too. I think that's probably their preferred run style. They've had some favorable trips, been able to run forwardly placed. The maiden win at Churchill Downs took pace pressure, was on the inside, probably a favorable position to be back in November. But I think you're right. That's probably where the horse is going to be early, and then getting the class test. And I think that maybe with the scratch of the 6, Ravenstown, then they might take the lead and might get a lot of attention as well, thinking, oh, this horse is going to be lone speed.
I've talked to a lot of people who are very high on this racehorse too. So we'll see, and I think that price probably will go down just based off what I'm hearing from so many people handicapping this race. The 4 horses Woodcourt. This is the one I laid as the favor in here from the barn of Cipriano Contreras. May turn out to be an exceptional claim for 50,000. 4 starts back. Claim for 50, ran for the optional 100, ran a good race. The last out in the Jeff Ruby Stakes, it wasn't a bad effort. This is a horse that finished 6th, was beaten only 4 1/4 when all was said and done.
And
but
had
I think
trouble
this is
too.
a horse that has a little bit of versatility and could be a factor.
Yeah, I think you're probably right to put him as the morning line favorite based on the current form and running in those stakes races and some of the consistent figures and proving around. And that trip last out, he did have trouble in there, so can certainly improve. And that barn has just had such a good year. Following them at Oaklawn Park, there would be horses that I'm like, oh, this horse is probably the 5th most likely winner, and then it wins by open lengths. I mean, they're just on fire.
And Contreras wins at like a 24-25% rate. He places his horses so good in each and every start. Longtime assistant trainer to Mike Rivas here on the Chicago scene, but wishing him much the best as well. 5 is Legree. This one from the barn of Al Stall Jr. Jareth Loveberry gets the call today. This is the one that I put on top in this spot. The big question is just going to be how we're handling a fast main track. The race in the slop 2-back was really good. The race in the rushaway, okay, it was a 9th place effort, but you were beating only 3 in that spot. And I think this horse might be overlooked a little bit in the betting.
Yeah, he could be, and I think it's probably a really good spot to run him and find out a couple things. Find out where he fits on class and find out where he fits on the dirt. But he's run well, even in his races before the maiden win at Fairgrounds, had just a ton of trips. He was just a horse that just needed some racing luck and puts himself in the race. He didn't quite have the best racing luck in the rushaway either with a traffic trip, so could certainly improve.
Yeah, good field of 5 there for the Illinois Derby. Anybody in with a shot there in race number 8, the last race of today's handicapping contest. And taking a quick look at today's 9th $25,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 goes 3/4 of a mile. Scratch the 5, Gimme the Candy, who removes some of the pace out of this race. Alibi Ike, a horse that I look to in this spot. I think Larry the Poet moves up, maybe Lil Steven. There's still a decent amount of pace in that last race today.
Yeah, absolutely. I gave a look to Larry the Poet. I think the drop is just what this horse needs to find the right level in order to compete. Has early speed. Looking at surface distance plot, he could have a pace advantage in here. The other horse that's worth a little bit of a look that could be under the radar is number 2, Jet Flight. The race is around 2 turns. Another one that's going to find some class relief from that most recent start back on April 6th, where he was wide throughout and second off with the drop. Should be in the right spot.
Yeah, Alex Bendazou picks up the call on that one again. A guy that had a good night last night and has ridden well this meet. That's how Emily and I see the 9 races on the Sunday Illinois Derby Day card. Let's flip back to the opener, take a look at the horses in the paddock. As you saw them walking over right behind us, we go 1 mile, 70 yards in the first, 62.50 in maiden claimers in race number 1. Emily, right now your favorite on the board just moved around a little bit, down to 4-5 is the 7. Sharpen Your Faith. We'll start with that one from the barn of trainer Larry Ravelli. Jareth Loveberry gets the call. This was a 9-5 favorite last time out, but this is a horse that's facing some others that are coming out of that same race today.
Yeah, I thought he ran okay in that last race. The trouble might have been a little bit overgraded, or might have been a little bit more than what it actually appeared on the track, and I thought he would be a short price in here and one I'd want to take on in today's race shape. I don't think he has much of an edge in this field when it all comes together. A couple others that we'll talk about as we get through that should keep the pace honest. He has been able to have that lone lead back at Tampa and came up short. wanted a short price, I'd look at some others in here.
Yeah.
I think this race is really competitive.
And I think it is too, but I think the way the odds have shifted, it opens up maybe a little bit of value on a few others. One of them being the 2-horse, that's Money Agent. Money Agent at 7-2. This is the horse that opened up as the favor in here. Raylo Gutierrez aboard for trainer Manny Perez. Dropped to this level for that last out, and Money Agent's a horse that I do think probably just kind of settles in that second flight early on, but I expect to move forward, Lee, as you just saw that one pass your camera right there with the 2, Money Agent.
And he's one you always want to get a look at because he's such a good-looking horse when we can get a look at him on the track. And going back to the race back on April 6th, he saved ground and he had a little bit of trouble inside, lacking room, and ran a good race. It's an improved effort from the races last year when he was probably just a little bit overmatched, kind of raced himself in a, there he is right there. You can always see he's a good-looking racehorse. I preferred him coming out of that race.
Yeah, that's the one that I picked on top in this spot. I'll happily take 7-2 if we're going to get it on the 2, Money Agent. 3 is Solomon Vandy. Solomon Vandy at 9-2 on the board. Alexis Centeno aboard. Another one that ran a decent race in that last out. That was first off the claim for Eduardo Rodriguez. Should be right in the mix. Probably sits 2-3 lengths off the early pace, but could easily repeat that performance. But again, provides, I think, a little bit of value at that 9-2 price.
He absolutely does. That was really my only knock on him, was that he was going to be a short price in a race that was competitive. But the action shifting to the 7, I think he just moves up on value alone. His race was as good as Money Agent last out. You mentioned in the pre-race show, he made that wide move and just got a little bit tired late. Should find a similar race shape in here and be able to get that run and a little bit fitter coming back.
Yeah, and then lastly, let's touch on the 1. That's My Tennis Shoes, 6-1 on the board. Olaf Hernandez aboard today. You and I both liked this one in that last out. That was going 5/8 of a mile. Today you stretch out today, you get a little bit of class relief as well. I think both of those are going to add up to a much improved effort, and Olaf stays in the saddle, so it's a guy that's gotten familiar with the racehorse and sticks aboard once again.
Yeah, and I actually like the added ground just based on their physicality, based on he ran the race last out. As you mentioned, it was slightly higher. That was back on opening day. I think there was a lot of horses that were pointing to opening day, so those races have come back pretty productive. And My Tennis Shoes, not the most ideal ride and trip, broke slow, had trouble at the start, ended up making a wide move. And again, I think the added ground benefits him and a little bit overlooked off that recent running line.
Yeah, let's see if he improves as he sits at 10-1 on the board right now. Your current favorite is Sharpen Your Faith in here as riders are getting a leg up for the opener on Illinois Derby Day. Best of luck.
Coming on the track for the Sunday opener, they'll go 1 mile and 70 yards on the fast track. Field of 7. Rider change to Money Agent. Make the jockey Raylo Gutierrez. There are no overweights. Win, play, show. Exacta, trifecta, superfecta. This race starts the rolling diddly doubles, rolling pick 3s, the 50-cent pick 5, and the $1 place pick 8. Another reminder, no carryover pools anymore on the place pick 8. Most winners takes it down. Here's the field. 1 My Tennis Shoes. Olaf Hernandez riding. 2 Money Agent. Note the jockey change. Raylo Gutierrez to ride number 2. 3 Solomon Vandy, ridden by the birthday boy Alexis Centeno, celebrating a birthday today. We say happy birthday to Alexis Centeno. 4 is Gray Mike with Uriel Lopez aboard. 5 Bubby Boy, Emmanuel Giles. 6 8 May, Julio Felix riding. And number 7, Sharpen Your Faith, Jarrett Loveberry will bring him to the gate. They'll all be there in about 5 minutes, kick off the Sunday program. This race starts the rolling daily doubles, rolling pick 3s, the 50-cent pick 5, and the $1 place pick 8. 5 minutes till post. We do urge you to make your selections early. Avoid being shut out. Racing fans, little time remains for the wager on the first race today, which features rolling doubles, rolling pick threes, the 50-cent pick five, and the $1 place pick eight. Pleasant temperature here in the Chicagoland area. Track will be fast all day long. We have a 9-race program highlighted by the 60th running of the Illinois Derby presented by First Bet. Track will be fast all day long. We have just one carryover pool for you, and that's the pick 6 today. Starts on the 4th race, carryover, $1,882. Once again, track will be fast all day long. We do urge you to make your selections early, close to starting time for race 1 at Hawthorne. Moving towards the gate for race 1, close to starting time, less than a minute. Racing fans, number 6, 8 May has gone into the paddock. Into the starting gate. Number 6, 8 May has gone into the starting gate as the other approach the gate. Close to starting time. Better hurry. Now they're at the starting gate for race 1 here at Hawthorne. The others will start to load. Once again, number 6, 8 May is already in the gate. They're loading up for the first of 9 here at Hawthorne. Last 2 to go in will be Gray Mike and Sharpen Your Faith. Waiting now for Sharpen Your Faith. He's in. They're on the gate. They're off. Towards the inside, Money Agent trying for the leads here. Sharpen Your Faith now moving up in between those two. Solomon Vandy, 3 across the track as they run into the first turn. And from the outside, 3 deep, Sharpen Your Faith. In between horses, Solomon Vandy. Towards the inside, Money Agent. It's a 4 or 5 length gap to My Tennis Shoes on the rail, 4th. In between horses, Bubby Boy, and then 3 wide, 8 May. Trailing the field, Gray Mike. That one's already 14 lengths behind the leader with less than 6 furlongs to go. The opening quarter, 24.44. And on the mid-back stretch they go. It's Sharpen Your Faith by 2. Money Agent racing second. Solomon Vandy out there third. My Tennis Shoes skimming the rail 4th. It's still a 5-length gap to find 8 May up to be 5th. Bubby Boy losing a bit of ground. Gray Mike still at the end. And around the turn they go. Sharpen Your Faith keeps his lead. Less than a half mile to go. It's Sharpen Your Faith by 2 lengths. Money Agent chasing second on the outside. Solomon Vandy, My Tennis Shoes, looks for racing room down along the rail. The top 4 now take tighter order. And then it's a 10-length gap to 8 May. They come to the top of the stretch. On the inside, Sharpen Your Faith still has the lead. Around the turn, they're in the stretch. Sharpen Your Faith has the lead by a length. Solomon Vandy on the outside. Money Agent between those 2. My Tennis Shoes tips to the outside with a furlong to go. It's still Sharpen Your Faith up top now by 2 again. In second position, Money Agent. And then it's Solomon Vandy, My Tennis Shoes. They're coming to the finish. Sharpen Your Faith still has the lead. He makes every call a winning one. Sharpen Your Faith won by a little more than 2. Money Agent second. Then it was Solomon Vandy and My Tennis Shoes. In today's first race, 7, Sharpen Your Faith finished first. 2, Money Agent was second. 3, Solomon Vandy third. 1, My Tennis Shoes fourth. 7231 is posted. It's unofficial. Running time 145.48. Returning the unofficial winner, 7, Sharpen Your Faith. Sharpen Your Faith is owned by Wayne Shear and Swatek Stables Limited Liability Corporation of Dan Swatek. Larry Ravelli, the winning trainer. Jarrett Loveberry, the winning rider. Still unofficial. Today's first race is official. Running time 145.48. While we wait for prices, we had a couple claims. 3, Solomon Vandy was claimed. Jerome Eggleston, new owner. Marvell Straub, new trainer, claims 3, Solomon Vandy. 7, Sharpen Your Faith was claimed. John E. Hanna Enterprises Limited Liability Corporation, new owner. Gerald Butler, new trainer, claims 7, Sharpen Your Faith. The $1 exacta, 7-2, $9.50. 50-cent trifecta, 7-2-3, $12.10. The 20-cent superfecta, 7-2-3-1, $8.58. Today's second race has win, play, show, exacta, trifecta, superfecta. Starts another daily double, another pick 3, and today's 50-cent early pick 4. Here are the changes in your early pick 4 races. No jockey changes, scratch or overweights. No changes in race 2. There are no changes in race 3. Fourth race, 1, Rhodium's Pride, carries 2 pounds over. 2, Joe the Tailor, carries 2 pounds over the program weight. Remember that fourth race starts the $1 pick 6 with a carryover $1,882. The fifth race today, scratch 7, Millard Smile, scratch 7, Millard Smile. Post time in 23 minutes at 3:15. In all cases, make your selections early. Thank you.